Hey y'all, hey, so I'm back again with another video. Today is December 14th. Um, today, I wasn't able to do videos for the last couple of days, and I'm just being 100% transparent. December has been a emotional time for me. Today's December 14th, and I can remember this day 3 years ago like it was yesterday. I don't know why. I was getting ready. So 3 years ago, I was working at a part-time job at a furniture place, and I was doing customer service. So my best friend had called me and was like, it was Christmas time, so we get ready to go shopping. I was getting off at 5 o'clock. This was on a Saturday. This wasn't the 14th. It was like a couple of days before the 14th, and he had me doing the craziest ever scavenger hunt. So I was looking for an earring. It was like an earring and a ring, but I didn't know what I was looking for. He just gave me a code number and was like, could you call the jewelry store and ask them for this code number and see if they have it in stock? So I was calling all over. I had called Menlo Park and Woodbridge. I had called all the way up to Patterson. And at that time, I was working in South Plainfield. So I was like, I don't feel like driving all the way to Patterson, but I will. I have been accustomed to driving far for a cookie. And this particular day, like I said, I was getting off of work at 5 o'clock, and we were supposed to go get pizza. So he was like, he was coming, to the area. He was going to be out there with his cousin, and he was going to wait for me to get off of work. And then we would go pick up this thing. He was getting it as a gift for someone. And so I'm just calling, like, calling around. And my coworkers were even like, well, Dad, what are you doing? I was like, because I was calling. When I say aggressively calling people looking for this particular, um, um, it was like this particular code number or whatever. It's like a SKU number, I guess. So I'm looking for the SKU number. Had no idea what I was looking for. He just asked me to do it, so I was doing it. Um, and I ended up finding it, and I told them where they had it at. And it was crazy because I'm like, oh well, they have it in, I think it was like Parsippany, somewhere far. It was like a 45-minute ride. So I was like, well, you're gonna have to drive out, ride with you out there to get it or whatever, but you're gonna have to drive because I was working and I wasn't beat really. So he was like, okay. So now, when I got off of work, at that time, my son was working at the mall, and I think I had to go pick him up. I believe I had to go pick him up from work. And I'm like, all right, well, he gets off. I get off at 5, but he didn't get off until 11. So I'm like, well, I got time. I'm gonna probably like, let's go get something to eat. So he was like, well, it's something at the mall, and he was like, could you go pick it up for me real quick and then I'll meet you or whatever. So I'm like, all right. So me and my daughter went to the mall. We went in there. We picked it up. I never even looked in the bag, y'all. I just was like, all right. I just picked it up because they said that he had called. He had paid for it. And to this day, I'm still like, how did he do that? Because he he would typically give me the money and have me pay for stuff. So I'm like, well, that was a little bit weird that he paid for it or whatever. But it was like, it never really dawned on me or anything. So when I actually, that Saturday night, I had the bag, and me and my daughter ended up going to get something to eat, and we went to the bookstore, and we were like, just shopping and things of that nature. And he said to me, he said, let's do lunch tomorrow, because I had got tired. Oh my God, I was so tired. So I was like, let's do lunch tomorrow. That was Saturday. That's Saturday night. So Sunday, we were supposed to go to lunch, and I was getting ready for, like I said, the holidays, and it was my daughter's birthday, and I'm trying to get everything together. And I was working two jobs at the time, and at that time I was like hustling, so I was like constantly busy. I was making edibles. I was doing edibles. I was working a full time job. I was working a part time job, and then I was in school all at the same time. So I had like a lot going on at that time. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired. Let's just do lunch tomorrow. I'll cook. Come to the house, whatever. Right. Um, so that Sunday, he ended up coming out to the house, and I had gave him the bag, and I still not knowing what was in the bag or anything. I had like I'd never even thought a second time about it, and then when he gave it to me, he was like, you know what, I can't hold this for you. So I'm looking like, for me, it ain't Christmas time yet. And he gave me the bag, and it was some earrings, a necklace, and a ring in the bag, right? And I'm like, wow. Like, I'm like, I'm getting all of this. And he was like, yeah, this is like, before your Christmas gift, I'm just giving it to you now because I'm not going to wait to give it to you. I don't want to lose it or anything. So I'm like, okay. So I took the ring, put the earrings on, he put the necklace on, and I put the ring on, and that was it. Like, we went on about our business. That was Sunday. So Tuesday, he had called out of work, and he said, all right, and that was on the 14th. That Tuesday was on the 14th. And he said, he had called out of work, and he said, he was going to, he had called out of work, and he said that he was going to we were going to go shopping because he had needed to get some stuff for his daughter and for his kids. He needed to get some stuff for his kids and his grandkids. So he was like, let's go shopping, let's get this last minute Christmas stuff done. So I'm like, all right. So we would go to this place. It's like a little restaurant, Red Tower, and we sat down, and we would go there and sit down and just have like conversations and talk. I would bring my notebook out, and we would sit down and talk. It was almost like we would have business meetings over breakfast right there in the back at that little back table. So we sitting down at the table, we waiting for the man to come, and typically we would, like, he would mess with me, I would mess with him, or we would sit and talk. But this day he seemed more serious than normal. Like, he played a lot. We played a lot. We was both silly as hell. So he was more serious this time, even with just talking to the man and placing the order and everything. So what happened was, we placed the order for food, and the man came out, and we're talking about the next year coming up, and the things that we wanted to do. We were going to go on a fast, like the last week, that week of Kwanzaa, we were going to do a fast. We were going to travel. We were planning a family picnic. We, like, everything, all of the things that he wanted, his dreams, his desires. And for whatever reason, he was like, write that down. And he would always say, like, write that down, like, so I would not forget it. And I would put stuff in, like, little notes in my phone. But this particular day, I had a little notebook, and I was writing things out in my notebook. And just the things that he wanted to do. We talked about business ideas, business ventures, places we wanted to travel, things that we wanted to do, like, with his kids and minds together. Just everything that he was thinking about that day, we sat and talked. And as we were waiting for the food to come, like, we were talking when the food came. And once he finished eating, I finished eating. And we were sitting there and like, all right, you ready? So as we were waiting for the man to come back, because I wrapped up the rest of my food to go, and we were waiting for him to come back with the container, and get ready to pay the bill and everything. He was like, let me see your hand. So it's the hand with the ring on it. So I handed him the hand with the ring on it, and he took it off. And then he was like, nah, let's do this for forever. And he took it off of the right hand and put it on this hand, on this finger, and was like, yo, you've been the most stable person in my life. Like, let's do this forever, like, for real. And I'm like, well, what are you saying? Like, so he was like, nah, it's just me and you. Let's do this together forever. Like, let's just do this, just me and you. So at that point, I'm just like, okay, all right, like, all right, let's do this. Because we had been friends for 20 something years. He knew me more than anything. I knew him. And then once we were like, decided that we were going to do the dating thing, it was kind of like, we kind of went into it because it felt natural. So that was like 7 years. And then when he was like, all right, let's do this, it wasn't no on your knee and let's do this forever, or I love you, or it wasn't nothing like that. It was just like, all right, let's do this, me and you together forever. So I'm like, all right. Um, and it was just like, I don't know how to describe it. It was just like a feeling that was different. It was different because one, I had been having we first of all, we had been going through like watching spiritual stuff on YouTube and reading the Quran together and then reading the Bible together and sitting having like conversations over things spiritually. It was like a spiritual journey that we had embarked on together. So with that, it was like, all right, I'm feeling things like just looking up at the sky, and he feeling the feeling and I'm feeling the feeling. And it's like, all right, we're riding in the car and we don't have to say anything, but we're both feeling something different that was connected. We knew that it was a soul connection. And we had talked about it. And so with that, it was like, for us to get to that space, it was like, all right. And it was something that I had wrote down in a journal like a couple of years before that. I had wrote down in a journal, and when I look back at it, it was like, wow, I kind of like wrote this out. So it's like that was the power of being able to write out and script, I guess, script your life and script it, because it was almost written to the T. So it was like, all right. So when he did it, the scavenger hunt, and then the fact that it was amethyst, amethyst was my favorite. I didn't want diamonds, and it was an amethyst ring and an amethyst earring. And it's not expensive. I'm not an expensive person or whatever, but it's like the meaning behind it. It's my birthstone, and it meant something to me. And like, and not only that, it's a spiritual stone. And it was like for protection and love. And so it's like, all right. So when he got that ring, it was like, you know what? That was really, really, really what I needed at that moment in time. It was really what I needed at that moment in time. So after we went shopping, after that, we went shopping. We went to the mall. Um, we went mad places just shopping. We shopped that day, like shopped till we couldn't shop no more. We definitely shopped that day. And we had a really great experience. Like it was like the most probably peaceful day. I got everything that I needed to do done. Everything that could have happened beautifully that day did. That's what I'll say. It was like it was the most amazing day ever. And it was like it was almost perfect, like from everything that we ate breakfast, and we had stopped and had lunch, and then we had cookies, and it was just like an amazing day. Then we went out to dinner, and it was just a full amazing day. And I was very grateful for it, just like grateful. I don't know why. It was just like typically I wasn't never grateful for amazing days like that. It was just like, all right. But that's when I first had a grateful day that I was like, oh my God, this was an amazing day. This was so amazing. Um, and that was the 14th. The 15th, we like, everything was business as usual. We were still talking, and Christmas Day came. The kids and I actually in our pajamas, because my kids and I had pajamas. We still had on our pajama shirts, and we put on jeans, and we went out to him to drop off the gifts for his kids, because I had the gift for his kids. We went out to drop them off. He gave me my gift. I gave him his gift, and everything was like, we were celebrating Christmas, the holidays, as we had typically done. And right after Christmas, I had surgery. I had surgery on my arms, and I didn't know I had surgery on my arms. And what happened was something happened while I was on the table, where they said that my heart rate dropped so low. They thought that my heart was going to stop while I was on the table. So a surgery that should have taken 2.5 hours actually took 5 hours. Um, and I didn't know, until I came to, and they're like, yeah, it took a little bit longer. We had a little bit of a problem. We didn't know what was going on. At that same moment, I didn't know. I looked at my phone once I came out of recovery that he went into the hospital with something that happened with his heart. And I didn't know. And then I called him. I'm worried. I'm worried about him. He's worried about me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what happened or whatever. So it was something with his blood pressure and whatever. So I'm like, making sure that he's staying on his medicine, to make sure that his blood pressure was regulated. But at that same time, I'm trying to make sure that I'm, regulated with, the pain medication, and my heart, where I thought my heart was dropped too low. It was just like a whole crazy scenario, or whatever. So he's worried about me, and I'm worried about him on that same token. But I didn't want him to know that I was worried about him, because then he was going to worry more about me. And I'm almost certain it was the same thing, because we were definitely worried about each other, like calling each other through the day, like, you taking your medicine? Are you making sure you resting? Are you, so it was just like it had gotten to be hectic. And then on New Year's Eve, because I was still down, I wanted to do, but he was down. We were both down on New Year's Eve. I wanted to, like, do something, and I couldn't. I was heavily medicated. I was on Percocets for the pain. I had over 200 stitches in each arm. I was like just done up, really, really, really done up bad. Um, but then he sent me this message, and when he sent me the message, I on New Year's Eve, I sent him a message. He sent me a message, and it was just like, all right, I didn't know how to feel about it. I really didn't. And then right after the New Year, I had gotten another message from him that said, no matter what, I'll always love you, no matter what. And I'm like, well, what the hell? What does that mean? And I showed it to my daughter, and she was like, you think he gonna die soon? And I'm like, no. I just started crying, hysterically crying. I don't know. I thought it was the medication that was making me cry or whatever, but it was just like something didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right in the atmosphere, in the air. It just did not feel right. Fast forward on to January 6th, right after the New Year. January 6th, I had this dream, and it was crazy because at nothing that day, everybody irritated me, everything frustrated me. And then that night, my daughter and I had gotten into this really big argument, and it was crazy because that Wednesday, the January 5th, I felt like, all right, I had my youngest daughter take him some food. Like, I wanted to cook and make sure he ate, and he requested like some crazy. He wanted spinach with baked chicken. That's nothing that he would have normally asked for ever. Um, so I made the spinach and the baked chicken, and I took it to him, and he wanted salad too. It was like weird. He wanted something very healthy. I don't know. It was just like that's what he wanted. So I took him the food. We sat and we talked until it was time for him to get on the train. He got on the train and went home. And then I came back home, and it was just like something that felt eerie. That was that Wednesday. Even the look in his eyes felt real eerie. And I was like, he's tired. Like, he needs to go ahead. And I'm like, you all right? Because you don't look well. And he was like, I'm just tired. So I'm like, just go home and go to sleep. So that was on Wednesday. Thursday, he worked a double. He worked a double on Wednesday, and then he worked a double on Thursday. So I'm like, why are you working all these doubles? But he was really trying to get himself financially in a better position at that point in time. Um, it was like, he was working on something. He had goals. He was trying to take care of something. So it was like, all right, I respect your hustle. I'm not gonna knock it. Whatever you need me to do to be support in your corner, I got you. Whatever you need or whatever. So during that time, we were I was also researching stuff for high blood pressure, like what could lower the blood pressure naturally, holistically. I was doing a lot of holistic research at that time, especially they hadn't gotten my diagnosis correct with my medical chart. I guess that's what you want to call it. So with that, I had this dream on that the January 7th, and I had a dream that I killed everybody in my house, like my parents, my kids, the dog. Everybody was bleeding out, and the blood was coming from the upstairs to the basement, and it was just dripping drip by drip. And I was down in the basement laying down as the blood was dripping. And then I woke up the next morning to go to a wedding, and he and I got married, and everybody that I killed in my family was there. And it's crazy because it was a dream. It was all a dream. It was all a dream. Make sure that y'all know that it was all a dream. Don't want nobody striking me or anything. But it was a dream. So it was like, why am I dreaming this? What is happening? And I prayed like, all right, I need the spirit to tell me what is happening here that night. And then I woke up in the morning. And I text him like, I think I need to. I was like, I text him like, oh, this dream, because the dream was crazy. Um, I woke up from the dream, and I had saw the wedding, the colors, everybody was there. It was just like an amazing moment. And then I went back to that gratitude of the day of December 14th. It was like, remember that, stay focused in that, stay focused in that. And I'm like, what is this all about? What is it trying to tell me? God, what you trying to tell me? So I text him, but he had never replied back. So typically by 5:30, 6 o'clock, we're talking in the morning. By 6:30, I didn't hear from him. I'm like, what the hell? So by 8 o'clock, I still didn't hear from him. I'm worried now. Like, all right, it's 8 o'clock. I ain't never not hear from him, especially knowing that we had plans by he got off around 2, that he was going to come to me. We were going to go get pizza, go get cookies, because I needed a timeout because I had a rough day the day before. And typically when I had a rough day the day before, he would be the one to be like, all right, let's go get something to eat and talk about it. Let's go take a ride, let's talk about it. Let's just listen to music and talk about it. And he was very good at that. So it's like, all right, we're going to make a way for you because you had a rough day yesterday. We're going to make a way for you to, feel better today, especially when you and your kids get into it, because he didn't like when me and the kids got into it. So I didn't hear from him, and I always would say to him, I didn't want to see his baby mama put on Facebook that something happened to him. God forbid. I just didn't want to see that, and that's what happened. So me saying what I don't want actually happened. Um and it was crazy because it's just like, all right, I have been having dreams since, then I've been having like, just awakening moments. I've been having, I don't know if you want to call it premonition, maybe psychic abilities. I don't know what it's called, but everything from January 7th has seemed different. It's really December 14th, 3 years ago, because everything walking from that day forward, if I reflect back on it, it just seemed like I have been in a supernatural, paranormal space from December 14th all the way up until now. And it's been 3 years. So it's like, all right, now I'm in a space of understanding it, but I still, like, I tweak out sometimes, like, all right. And sometimes I will crash and burn because it's like, this don't seem, I'm not going to say normal, because I feel like life is just never going to be normal again, but it just doesn't feel real. And it's like, all right. And then you have the power to create your own life. You have your power to create the way that the narratives is going to go in your life. So it's like, and he keeps telling me, it's like, it's crazy things. I met a guy that came to me and said he saw him 2 times. I didn't know this man, but he's now reaching out to him, or me having dreams. And then it's like, all right, he'll tell me, don't trust this person. And then sure enough, that very next day, that person will come along. And now I'm like, all right, damn, I shouldn't trust you. Or me saying things, and I don't know what the hell I'm saying or why I'm saying it, but it's coming out at the right time for the right person. So it's just like, I don't know what is happening, but I'm excited about this journey. He came to me and told me that I had to help 1 million people become millionaires. Now in that dream, it was my best friend and God, and we were on a carpet, and the three of us were on a magic carpet, and we were flying through the sky. And it was like, there's so many people in poverty mindset. You have to help 1 million people become millionaires. It's very important. It's imperative for you to change the mindset of the people, hence the Million to Millionaire movement, because that was 2 years ago in October, and I still haven't really done anything with it. I do know that people have reached out to me like, hey, you have helped me become a millionaire, but it's not on a magnitude of where I want to be at. So now I'm just creating this life. I was watching something. I've been doing a lot of shadow work. I've been doing a lot of what do you call it? I don't want to call it self promotion, like, but just doing shadow work and working on myself and doing the self work and putting the work in on myself and doing personal development. And in that, I was watching something yesterday, and it's like, you can create the life, just give it 72 hours. So I started yesterday just creating a life. I'm working on it. I'm scripting things out. I'm doing the 369 method. I'm visualizing things, using the imagination to be able to create the life that I want. And this is all based on the dreams that I've been having when my fiance, best friend. I'll say my best friend because I feel like the fiance role was so short, because we went from December 14th to January 7th. And with that, he was my best friend for 20 something years. So it is a little bit, different to try to get acclimated with. But I just know that something is bigger happening. Something is bigger because he keeps telling me in my dreams. And it's like, all right, talk about it. So start this YouTube channel. And I'm going to be honest, sitting in front of the camera is real, real cringy for me. So I have to be able to practice it. It's like getting on a bike and learning to ride a bike and getting better at it as you're going on. So I'm developing my craft. I'm developing myself. And what I'm doing, and to be able to help a million people become millionaires, because now I feel like I've taken this on as my purpose. And the more I'm talking to people and the more I'm being connected with people, the more I'm realizing I've met in the last 2 years, I've met so many millionaires that look like me as possible. I've met people that came from the same storyline as me, and they're millionaires. They made it possible. So I know that it's possible. Now it's just a matter of putting in the work. What do I need to do to be able to get myself to be able to help a million people to become millionaires? I've touched $1 million several times. I've touched $1 million. So I'm not worried about making $1 million. It's now how to be able to develop the mindset for others to be able to become millionaires, so that they can live the lives that they want. Because we're not supposed to be, we weren't created to be living in lack. We weren't created to live in poverty, with a poverty mindset. And we have been developed with this poverty mindset. So we have to unlearn everything that we've learned and relearn it again. So that's my goal. That's my mission, is to be able to help as many people as I can, a million, to be able to change their mindsets. And I don't want to do it over the next 40 years. I want to do it quick, because money loves speed. And I'm learning that money loves speed. So you got to be able to change your mindset. Like, we only got 15 more days, or a little bit more than 15 days left to this year. So what are we doing to be able to put ourselves in the next motion? Where are we taking our energy? Are we moving our energy so that we can move to the next level? Are we manifesting the lives that we were created? Are we taking the energy and the space around us and realizing that we are all molecules and we're all connected to the higher power, whatever you look at it as? So if you are connected to your higher power, you don't have to live in lack. You don't have to live in poverty. You don't have to pretend and put on a persona that you're doing well. You can actually be doing well and living happily. Take time to meditate. Take time to pray. Prayers are your petitions to God. Meditation is God speaking back to you. However you look at it, however you see it fit. I'm not looking to be religious. I'm looking to go on a spiritual journey, to take it on a spiritual journey. What can you do to manifest? Where are your thoughts? Your thoughts is where your life is going to be. God does not give you a vision that he can't complete. It's not possible. So every vision that you could see for your life, no matter how big it is, can be possible for you. There's infinite possibilities of this playing field that we call earth, and we have to be able to tap into the higher power. And I'm grateful for this journey. I'm grateful for the last 3 years. And yes, this year does feel different, and I do feel a little bit of sorrow when the grief will kick in. But I'm grateful because now I can create the life I want. I can create the love that I want. I can create the business that I want. I could create the house that I want. I can create the car that I want. I could create the style of dressing that I want. I can create the children that I want. I could create the husband that I want. I can create the family that I want. I can create everything just by tapping into my higher power and putting in the thoughts, because my higher power won't give me the thoughts. And then now I'm just feeling and just going into feeling. So we'll be doing a lot of talking about manifestation going into the new year 2025. We're going to create the lives that we want, and I'm going to do it here on my channel. And I want you guys to join in the movement, join in the journey. That's really what it is. Life is a journey, and let's have fun with it, because life is really about having fun and enjoying the good and the bad, and it's just living in the now. We don't have to think about the future. We don't have to think about the past. You think about every moment that you're given as a gift. That's the present. And we're at the Christmas time. We're in the Kwanzaa time. We're in Hanukkah. So we're at the holidays. We're right amongst the holidays. This is the time that people are looking to give. People are looking to be joyous. These are times that people are looking for happiness. So let's dwell in that and take it moving every day forward, just for today in this moment. That's all I have for you guys today. You going out there and have a great day. Namaste.